We'll go back for more arms. Bite and Barq, bottom tier? No way, man. I'm gonna show you that tiers don't matter. Level 7, let's go. You know, I don't normally shout let's go when I'm excited like other people do. But in this case, we actually are going somewhere. We're going to start. Live from Buster Beach, the law, the order, the authority of the Arms Grand Prix is upon us. And who else could be here to share in this action-packed event but your buddy Biff? Ladies and gents, turn your eyes to a pair that's programmed to win. Welcome, Bite and Barq. Entering this competition as a team is probably illegal, but who the rest of this adorable duo, plus they are the law. Certainly not themselves, and if they win, maybe they'll be able to leave a life of crime behind. What a tale it would be. In the meantime, the Arms Grand Prix is getting started! Match 1, go team! It's Bite and Barq versus the Sucker Puncher, Lollipop. She's traveled the world, spreading sweet dreams with her clowning talents. We know salty things disagree with Bite and Barq, but how would they react to sugar? I really don't have any idea how this is going to go, since I really haven't played on 7 yet, as you could see. I've done 6, so I like to think I can manage, but we'll have to see. So, Bite and Barq, their defining trait is that they're a duo. Never mind that you have, when you're playing as Bite, you have the AI-controlled Barq at your side, assisting you. And there are certain ways that you can get Bite, or, sorry, I always mix up their names because it's one syllable and they're both B. Get Barq to cooperate with you, to get him to do what you want him to do. Because, you know, animals in general, not just dogs, the stereotype is cats, but, sometimes dogs don't listen either. So there is ways you can get Barq to be a good boy. One of the ways is if you charge, and you get that red light going on. Good job, Barq. Get that red light going on Barq's head, he will always punch right after you. It's usually set on a timer of like every 5 seconds if you're not currently jumping or dashing. I think punching also counts for that timer, not playing out. But you can get a lot of punches going if you utilize his charge. And even going off of a timer, he can still be pretty useful, getting in hits where there wouldn't have been one otherwise, or saving you from a grab on occasion. The other way that Barq, trying to think about it to make sure I got the right name, comes in handy is defensively. He can take a hit for you. And if you guard, he'll go right in front of you, as opposed to staying at the side where he normally does. And if your opponent rushes, Barq will automatically get in front of you, giving you extra time to get out of the way or block. Which, again, definitely can save you if you would not get blown up by the bombs. Which I swear, every time there's a bomb, Barq gets in the way and I can't get him out of the way. So I'm not going to pretend like Bite and Barq is this shining diamond of a duo that people were completely overlooking just because they're bottom tier. Like, they definitely say that for a reason. But I'm here to remind you once again, tiers don't matter! Come on. Alright, well, fine. I still have the health lead. And that as well also, I'm going to throw you. Now here's the real way that Bite has abilities. He can do this, and basically get Springman Shockwave by jumping on Barq's head. I would not normally advise jumping on your dog, but in this case, it's a robot dog that's apparently built to do that. And when you do so, you get a defensive Shockwave. Which when the NPC does that, I find it's a pretty hard thing to get through. Uh-oh. Ah, save me! See, there we go. Barq saved me. I mean, I suppose I wasn't that close to running out of, having the health gap change, having the health advantage change to Lola being the winner. But we're getting going. And while you're bouncing on Barq, I would like to be doing so while I explain this, but yeah. While you're bouncing on him, you can also kind of move if you slightly tilt the thumbstick. I suppose it's not that helpful because you're still kind of vulnerable while you do that. But there's also the ability to jump off of him really high. So you can go like this, get some extra air, get some air advantage to jump over any shields anyone may have. Or meet them face to face if they are up in the air. Yeah, this is not going well. I play being distracted by talking. Come on, land it. Also, when you rush, Barq will be revived from being knocked down. So even if you end up whipping your rush, that's still a benefit you can get out of it. What are you bouncing around for? Knock it off. It's like she knows she's gonna get a timeout victory. She's deliberately trying to avoid me, just to taunt me. Like the silly clown she is. Ah. Lollipop was not a good first opponent again, I suppose. I feel like her arm setup is definitely in her favor in this situation. Try hanging back and use Seekies. I think Bite and Barq are considered more of a at-range kind of opponent, kind of fighter. And their arm setup definitely agrees. Because they have the Seekies, which are just electric homies. I never really did explain what the missiles are like. They're entirely homing. So the only way you can curve them is at launch. You can launch them at a curve, but they will naturally just seek in on your opponent. They seek up. Which I'm definitely discovering works way better when you're at a distance than when you're close up. So it's definitely I would say a long-range weapon. Especially so you're not at risk of blowing yourself up. Speaking of blowing up. Oh, come on. Explosion should have totally gone through his shield. But yeah, so Seekies in particular are like their homie brothers, except they're electric, but they're a different form of electric that's unique to the Seekies in that it's an explosion. So it doesn't immediately apply electricity. It's only when the explosion lands. So just like an explosive arm, it's kind of like how explosive arms are basically firearms, except it's a second hit. That's pretty much what these are like. They're electric, but that only triggers on the second hit. There we go. Alright, you're going double fun, Chucks. I think I'll stick with the Seekies. Yeah, you're not getting me with a grab this time. Whoa. I hate when I get hit by something non-elemental. I'm like, oh, I can guard the next hit. I can do it, and I'm holding the button to guard, and nothing happens, and I get knocked down. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, here we go. Now I've got her number. Yeah, there's that secondary hit, the electric explosion effect, getting her arms disabled for me without directly hitting. It does kind of suck that when you're guarding someone's rush, whether you're, in particular danger or not, Barq will still jump in front. So he's pretty much guaranteed to go down when someone rushes. And I'm not even sure if that would still be the case. I think that would still be the case even if you were able to dodge the rush, because Barq is not as good at dodging as you are. He's not perfectly good at following you, which is definitely a weakness of his. An unfortunate drawback to his AI controlledness. It's like I said, I find he gets hit by bombs like all the time, because even if you try to get him over by your side, he doesn't always respond quick enough. There we go. First opponent down. 9 more to go. Is it sad that I'm most scared of the minigames? Because AI can be kind of nasty in these minigames. Match 2, double up. It's Barq versus the heiress, Ribbon Girl. She can jump over and over without touching the ground, like she's dancing on air. Her advantage may be negated, though. Barq can jump off a Barq and meet her midair. Exactly. But I'm not making the mistake of going homies again, or in this case, Seekies, like I did when I was Mechanica. Crackers. Because they have a large hitbox, so they're good for hitting someone like Ribbon Girl, who's particularly mobile, and on the smaller side of the size spectrum. I say that, and I still haven't landed a single hit. I'm doing great. And they, of course, do get larger as they, the more they're airborne. They're kind of like a cone in that regard, because they are a cone. They're a popper, so they're steadily expanding as they go out. So their attack circle getting bigger. Have I explained this properly yet? All the different ways I'm explaining that they get bigger. They get bigger. That's my point. They expand, which is why they're a good one to try to hit Ribbon Girl with. Still haven't landed a hit. It's definitely eating those words. And of course, she's got a popper of her own, which definitely fit her playstyle, needing, well, not really needing, but benefiting from arms that are easier to land hits with because she's moving around so much. Come on. I'm just gonna get it with a rush. I didn't time it right. Don't punch my dog! Don't punch my dog! Joke's on you, I'm a cat person. No, but that's not really that big of a deal here, because A, it's not a real dog, it's a robot dog. I like robots, even if they're dogs. And B, I don't have anything against dogs. I do like most dogs, I would say. Just not as obsessed with them as the internet can be. It's like, oh my gosh, it's a dog! Oh man, I gotta pet the dog! It's like, no. It's okay, there's a dog, that's cool. Good dog. I like the dogs we have at my house. We got a greyhound and a husky. The husky doesn't like me. I don't know why. We suspect it's something to do with the previous owner, but, still haven't quite figured it out. It's fine. She doesn't have to like me. I still pet her anyway. Huskies are so funny because, because she doesn't like me, when I come up to pet her, she gives this look of uncertainty, like she's not sure about what's going on. It is kind of funny, even though it makes me a little sad that she, even after all this time that we've had her, she still doesn't like me. But it's fine. The other dog likes me because he likes everyone. He likes attention, kind of. Not that much of an attention hog, I would say, but he likes attention, definitely. Yeah, take that. But I'm definitely more of a cat person. Definitely get more excited at the idea of there being a cute cat than I am a cute dog. Ah, there we go. 140, I'll take it. I mean, I'm still winning. Let's see if I can get it with a Barq punch. Yeah, Barq will always have... His punch will always be a sort of variant of the toaster. I believe it is fire element. There we go, there's a knockout. And I'm gonna say it does 30 damage uncharged, and if he charges, it becomes 60. So it's not a whole lot of damage, but it's some extra damage going around. I have had Barq knock out opponents for me, because he just happened to land a hit, and it happened to be enough. Oh man, I was just thinking she was punching over him. He wasn't gonna get hit, and then he did. Come on. Got you now. Maybe not. There we go. 275. Ouch. Man, she punched under me and hit Barq anyway. It's like, way to go me. Protecting my dog. I forget if I said when I was Rugged Girl. I feel like this is something I should have said then. But it's important to remember that you can charge by jumping. Because it definitely, at least for me, it became muscle memory to use dashing to charge. So anytime I wanted to charge, I would dash. Or whenever I jump, I would jump and dash. And I would charge like that. But it can definitely be important to remember that you can charge from a jump. Whoa! Which, again, a good way to mix things up so your opponent isn't always predicting your next move. Just go for a jump and then charge. Yeah, see, there we go. He landed a hit. Maybe not the knockout, but close enough. Made a comfortable victory there. Not quite a tight victory. It's more like a nice sock, you know? It's kind of tight, but, you know, not so tight that it's uncomfortable. It's more of a comfortable tight, like snug. Yeah, there we go. That's the word. A snug victory. Well, we're going back to Buster Beach. Let's song go. Skill shot, didn't it say? On the case. Let's make it up and play some hoops. Oh. I'll go Seekies. Oh, go. Seekies might not be the best idea because of the homing ability, which can be easy to avoid, I suppose. At least when they're together as a grab. Ugh. This might take me a while. Dang it. I forgot about that lose animation. He spins his head around and drops his jaw. For a face that's not really designed to be expressive, Bite certainly is expressive. Like, his face is not very human-like, but he's still pretty expressive. There we go. That last second rush that didn't let me get off any missiles because it was so last second. Ah, Kid Cobra. Match 4, sniff him out. It's Barq versus the Speed Demon, Kid Cobra. Snakeboarding competitions go down in this park night after night after night. I think Robodog Barq smells something fishy. Yeah, I thought I heard something about like Kid Cobra obtaining his arms illegally, but I don't think there's actually any proof of that. Guess I'll go with easier hits here. Really been underutilizing those bubs, huh? Okay, I would like to get you off your snakeboard. There we go. It's interesting to see. Oh, come on. Interesting to see Barq is actually having a decent time keeping up with the snakeboard. I guess I never paid attention to that before. So there I go making assumptions, you know. Get over here. Good. I remember one time, before the game came out, I had a dream that Min Min was actually doing illegal activities. She was like a criminal on the run or something. And there was a story mode where you would play, and then Chun-Li would come in and try to arrest Min Min. But like I said last time, it's like, this game kind of is really feel good in its setting. There's not really any criminals. I mean, I suppose that's because all the robot cops have beaten them all out. No one's around to do illegal things. They're all in jail. Everyone else is up to doing good things. I feel bad about my phrasing there. Everyone else. Like, everyone else of what? It's like, what do you mean, everyone else? It's like the people who haven't been in jail. That's what I was intending. But it did kind of... Oh, sound wrong. Ah! Alright, let's see how well I do with a Bob. So Bob is just like the buff Elementalist glove that buffs up. But the difference here is that it's... I think it's either it's faster or its curving is better. And it has no tracking. I'm not letting you get on that board, man. No. No. You did it. I told you no, and you did it anyway. Okay, stay over here, Barq. Ow. Come on. Maybe I ought to just play the Seeky game. Just get him from a distance with Seekies. Stand in my circle. Stand in my personal space. Excuse me. Robots don't burp. Okay, I've still got a health lead on him. Guess I can play defensively from here. I'm too aggressive for my own good. Even when I say I'm going to play defensive, I'm still not. Just gotta go for the knockout, man. It feels better than getting a timeout. Okay, you know what? Let's try it. Let's try the Seeky game. You want to get on your board? I'll just stay on the outside here. Keep knocking him off his board. You gotta rush. I know you're gonna use it. Just don't know when. Ow. I'm gonna rush here to keep you out of my circle. You take that 180 damage. That was definitely something I'd learned from Headlock, because Headlock definitely has a habit of getting into the healing circles and saying, no, this is my circle, you're not allowed in. Alright, I think I'm got him. I mean, I certainly have a large health lead here. Could be focusing a little less, I guess, you know, start talking again. Which it is. I do like the fact that since this is a fighting game, I don't think anyone will blame me for falling quiet sometimes. Because, you know, focus mode. Which I just remembered is like a setting on my phone. Focus assist, I think they call it. Which I think is really just the blue light filter. It's supposed to help with your sleeping. But you know what I mean. Now that's Springman. Because it's basically New York. And that's like it's I don't know, Spring Stadium is in the city. Halfway there. Spine Barq versus the Bouncer, Springman. Aside from the springboards around the perimeter, Spring Stadium doesn't offer it. Doesn't really have a gimmick. It's a pure test of fighting skill. I'm sure exactly a Springman would want it. Excuse me. What I really like about this game's simplicity is the fact that I can watch tournament players and actually follow what's going on. Like, if I would have watched competitive Smash Bros. I mean, I suppose it's not that much more complicated than ARMS. Because I know what's going on in Smash Bros, just like I know what's going on in this game. So it's not like there would be combos I don't know of. Like, I would still be able to recognize the moves, but it's like... I don't know, there was one time where I watched some competitive footage. And I was like, yeah, I'm perfectly following what's going on here. And I can even, like, look at a competitive fighter playing and think, like, why didn't he guard there? Why didn't he see that coming? I saw that coming. But then again, here's my own playing. Like, yeah, I know Springman, and I'm doing my best as I can as Bite, and I'm just about to lose. Because I do have a hard time against Springman anyway. I'm around level 7, so it's the hardest Springman you can get. I really ought to go get some more water before I continue. But we'll see if we can beat Springman first. I'm feeling good about keeping a cracker on. So let's go Bub. Although I don't think it was the homie that was, or the Siki that was doing me in here. I think it was the cracker, but I'm like, no, I'm feeling good. Don't you punch my dog with your triple shot missile launcher Nerf gun. I'm sure Nerf has guns like that. Which reminds me of those, like, the real world Splatoon guns they've made. Nintendo needs to make more of those. Those are super cool. Like, I totally would have bought, you know, Zock'em Bopper's Arms Edition. That would have been cool. Have some Nerf arms sets. If nothing else, just based off of Springman sets, because I, you know, Toaster and the Tribolt and the Boomerang, because I think the Splatoon ones are only just like the Splattershots, like the Splattershot Junior and Splattershot Pro. I keep forgetting it's not Junior and Pro, it's Junior, regular Splattershot, and Pro. The Pro is a different one. He's going 2 Boomerangs. I think I'll go 2 Sikis. 2 Sikis. Sounds like Fushigis. I don't know why my mind had to go there. It's not that funny. It's kind of funny that it sounds like some as seen on TV product that people always thought was a scam because it's just a reflective ball. Ah, my grab didn't get him. So something I remember when I was doing hoops that I forgot to mention in the fight following it, and I'm now remembering, is you actually do get your full mobility back. Not when your arm comes back, but when it's starting to come back. So as it's starting to retract, you have your full dash and jump abilities. Well, I guess not if they knock it down. Oh yeah, and something important to note about rushes is you cannot grab while you're doing a rush. Which I'm grateful for, because that would be kind of too much, if you ask me. That'd be too technical. You know, you do a rush to deflect and then you grab, or you rush to trick someone into guarding and then you grab them while they're guarding, because, you know, why would you not try to guard a rush? Okay, 2 Sikis didn't work. How about we go double Bubs? There's the freaking multi-shots piercing my, you know, basically piercing. Even though I'm knocking it down, it's still hitting me. There we go. Ah, great, another minigame. I do not like my chances of making it through this. I switched up to play some skill shot. Guess we'll go Bub and Cracker. Ha, knocked it down. So I suppose while I'm fighting this, well, facing off against this Ninjara in skill shot, I remembered a particularly notorious online ARMS fighter, a player. He's known as Fernando, and he used to main Ninjara with 2 Seekis. And he was known to try to use these with the very... honestly, I find it cheap. The cheap tactic of using electricity to get in easy throws. Because throws, you know, they deal the most damage. And when he was losing, he was known to just flat out grab spam. You know, the good old Ninjara jump dash grab, technique. The idea of that. And I think it even got to the point where he would, if he was losing by too much, he would just flat out disconnect. And I think there was even something about him using some kind of, like, router cheat technique to use lag to his advantage. So this guy was very serious about trying to win in the most cheap ways possible. On the trail, let's fight Barq versus the Man of Mystery, Helix. Could that broken cultivation tube in the back be where Helix came from? This stage is as weird as it gets. Not that you could tell from the beach bot's unloved expression, whatever. I read slow sometimes. So yeah, Fernando was kind of a pretty notorious player. I fought against him a couple of times. I forget if I even beat him, because like I said, I definitely have had troubles fighting human players even when I know what they're gonna do. And you know, I haven't played online in a while, so I have no idea if Fernando's even still out there. We don't even know if Fernando was his real name. I didn't even really think about what arms selection I was using for this, did I? I was too busy talking about Fernando, I guess. Yeah, if you notice inside these tubes, there are other helixes. There was brothers, basically. And when you break the glass on them, they slip down the drain. Oop. Trying to get in a grab because I remembered a cool detail about Bite. Watch his little clockwork gears on his arms. They get faster when you I was gonna say pull up a charge. When you power up a charge. And I think this might just be for grabs, but I think they also spin one way when when his arm is extending, and they go the opposite way when it's retracting. All right, my victory is assured. I also just like his feet. I don't know what it is. I like that Bite looks like he's wearing shoes. And I like the way they look when he, like, bends his legs. Because they don't quite clip through his feet. It's, like, particularly designed just right so that when he bends his legs and his foot, you know... How would you describe that motion? His foot comes closer to the rest of his leg. You know, it bends upward. That it's unhindered by the design of it looking like a shoe. Freaking Helix trying to wiggle around things. We really haven't gotten a chance to talk about Helix yet. I mean, I suppose we have had a chance, but I just haven't Because I'm like, man, I don't know what I got. What would be best saved for when we're actually playing as them, or what I should save right away. I mean, I did repeat Twin Tail's abilities, like, the first time we saw her, and then when actually playing as her, so I could probably talk about Helix. Helix is a dodgy guy. You can see he extends into a tower and can wiggle back and forth. In his debut trailer, they had this moment where he's, like, using his wiggle ability to avoid a rush. And I don't know that any actual human player has ever actually done that. NPC certainly hasn't done that. You know, it's sad to say Helix isn't that good as an AI, even on level 7. But if anyone actually has done that in real life, I would certainly like to see it. I remember this one time, I was just playing Arms Test in Hot Pursuit. Oh man, Min Min really is a criminal. It's playing Barq versus the Ramen Bomber, Min Min. At the bottom of this giant ramen bowl, there's a drawing of a dragon. Is it meant to represent Min Min's left arm? And arm? I'll go Seekies. I forgot what I was saying. Ugh. Saying something about like Helix's abilities, right? How he's debut trailer, he wiggled around, has to brush, and it's like I don't know that any human player's ever done. Oh, right. I was saying one time I was just playing Arms Getter, or not Getter, Arms Test, and I think I was fighting a Helix, and he did this like really sick dodge, which is like perfectly showing off the tightness of the hitboxes in this game. It was beautiful. I'll have to see if I can find that, put that in somewhere. Yeah, given that the bombs in this game have physics to them, obviously the bottom of the bowl is a bad place to be when the bombs come. But otherwise, I'm not sure the height advantage is that much of an advantage. It definitely can be tricky punching up from inside the bowl, so I don't know. I've also heard people say, like, yeah, if you're playing on the ramen bowl stage, yeah, don't be in the middle of the bowl. Yeah, now I've got you. I'll do Seeky and Cracker. I'm definitely becoming more fond of the missiles now that I'm understanding how to hit with them. Whoa. That bite or Barq coming in with a punch, saving me from her dragon. Excuse me. I should have punched sooner. Yeah, I just can't help but think of Phoenix Wright when I'm on this stage. Because of that whole case that was like half about finding a guy's noodle stand. Well, okay, maybe more 1/3, because I think there was a point where you find the stand and then it becomes about figuring out how the stand comes into play with the murder. Ow. Come on, you wanna go? You wanna fight? Fight me! Which you are! That's not a very applicable quote. It's also like the only Police Academy quote I remember, because, I don't know, I just thought that scene was cool, Michael Winslow. Like he's trying to mimic Kung Fu movies, but it's still just a cool sentiment of, if you want to fight me. And then he wins. Very Kung Fu movie-like, I suppose. To be the guy who's like, yeah, I'm gonna protect people. And then he ends up kicking all the bad guys' butts. Excuse me. Yeah, I've been recording too much. 3 episodes is apparently my limit. Definitely need to get back to the swing of things, because this is only the 3rd recording session I'm doing of ARMS. After not recording stuff for like several months. I like how Bite's jaw drops just as Barq's face Mike Wazowski's him. It's like he knows it's coming. Alright, we're on the semifinal. Robot Suit versus Robot Cop. Match 9, take him down. Spine Barq versus the Scrapyard Scrapper Mechanica. In her day-to-day life, she helps out her dad at the scrapyard here. So if Bite and Barq lose, maybe they can get some free repair work done. Yeah, probably. I was gonna say that there was a piece of artwork of Mechanica actually fixing Bite and Barq, but no, she's actually working on Springtron. Are you gonna go missiles? Are you gonna go missiles? We'll go missiles. Let's go missiles. This is definitely amusing me. I don't know if you find this as amusing, but I'm certainly a little tickled by missile fight. Ow. Am I losing the missile fight? Come on. After I had said earlier that I'm starting to become more fond of the missiles because I can actually land a hit with them now. She also has the super armor advantage against me. Whoa. If I hadn't done that, I bet she would have blown herself up with her own explosion. As opposed to blowing herself up with her own toaster. I don't know. Ah, didn't quite stagger my blasts appropriately. But there we go. Oh yeah, and there's a grab. You can see, you can watch his, what would it call it again? The little turn keys on the back of his arms spin as he looks at Barq while he wins. It's looking for Barq's approval. As Barq's in approval. Alright. Now let's do some fire to get through that super armor birds. You can see a TV in the background showing some fighters there. It's their, like, intro clip art, I think. I think it's a little interesting that there's, like, 3 different art styles for ARMS. There's, like, this official render art style that they use in-game. And then there's, like, this kind of promo art style. But then there's also, like a third art style that's much more cartoony that they use for the lore snippets that they would share on Twitter. Wow, I'm actually surprised at how easy of a time I'm having against Mechanica here. But hey, at least I struggled against Springman, who I have gone on record saying I do struggle against on higher difficulties. I did indeed struggle against him on this high difficulty. Here we go. Grand finale. Sorry, I'm moving my mouse because I got a pink fungus going to try to see what's wrong. Okay, I'll have to check that later. What'd he say? What just happened, folks? It's okay. Stay calm. Stay calm. The commission was knocked out cold. Who would... Wait a minute. I know that face anywhere. It's the rad scientist, Dr. Coyle. The head of the ARMS labs and their top researcher. She's also a sponsor of this very tournament. Barring the Grand Prix herself, she's clearly made peace with the ethical quagmire this presents. Anyway, taking out Max Brass like it was nothing proves she's got what it takes to be champ. It's on. This next fight is for the title. Oh, it's all the same dialogue. Okay. I'm a little tired. Recording too much, apparently. Voice getting tired. Water bottle empty. I should get another throat lotions, probably. Alright. Electrical oil is kind of evasive. So I think I'm gonna go double crackers. I'm try to pierce your defenses with the wide hitbox of the crackers. Ah, geez, 4 arms. When you think about it, Dr. Coil kind of is like Bite and Barq if they were to be combined into one single person. At least when you're playing as her yourself and not fighting her as a boss. Because she does kind of have that element of having a third arm that Barq kind of is like. He is a third source of attack that you have to watch out for when you're fighting against them. And she's got mobility that Barq gives Bite, with the ability to jump on his head, which I just lost because she just knocked him down. Close in to try to get it with a rush. Botched. You know, I probably should have watched some competitive ARMS fighting someone, you know, high-tier Bite and Barq gameplay, get some inspiration for this. You know, try to learn some new techniques. I'm sure there probably is some kind of strategy, too, when you bounce on Barq. Ah, dang, I would have won that round. I hadn't gotten greedy and gone for the grab. At least I got some rush for the start of the next round. Okay, I'm committing to double crackers. Just got a parabola on. Ow. Dang it. Okay. I'm willing to accept that double crackers is not the way to do this. Seriously? Oh wow, Barq survived a rush. That's why I'm trying to whittle away at her health from a distance with the crackers here. I'm reminded of a piece of trivia. Well, I guess it's not really trivia, it's more just an interesting thing I heard about one time. Or maybe that is the definition of trivia, I don't know. But it's not like trivia, like, did you know that Bite and Barq were inspired by traffic lights? Like, it's not really that much of a fun fact, but I think it's an interesting thing that the meta for ARMS, you know, competitive play, is different between the American players and Japanese players. And the way I found this out was that they would, while they were still updating the game, they would keep giving buffs to Springman's Tri-Bolt. Even though, you know, to American players, it's like, why are you buffing this arm? It's kind of broken, and you're making it even more strong? Well, as it turns out, the Japanese meta is different because they tend to play more at a distance and with mind games. With more mind games, I should say. And so for them, the Tri-Bolt is really weak. Oh, come on. So I think it's interesting that this game's meta is so malleable that two different regions play it at, you know, at a competitive level different ways. You know, it's not like Melee where everyone's wave dashing and whatever other technical techniques I don't know because I don't really care. You know, you have arms over here just like, meta? I don't know, something. Just figure it out, I don't know. And it really does solidify the fact that, yeah, it's all in the player, not the game itself. Yeah, I'm just crap spamming trying to win. Yeah, I know, right, Barq? Bite. Ah, not quite a perfect. Oh, she's got the bird shucks on. I don't know if we've really seen those yet. There we go. Victory. Well, not quite. Alright, this is it. Time to prove the value of Bite and Barq! The coins are refusing to admit defeat. I've got a bad feeling about this, people. I always knew the doc's devotion to arms was a little creepy. But she's totally obsessed. Her pet projects, Helix, Headlock, Springtime, the Party Crash program. We're all part of her research. But research for what? Maybe we'll find out in a sequel. To become the Ultimate Arms Champion, you have to use Headlock to do it? Good luck, Bite and Barq. As always, it's up to you to keep the peace. I really hope we do get a sequel soon. Ladies and gents, if you're not panicking, now's a good time to start! Don't really have that much of a strategy here that's any different than what I was doing before. Just gonna go ahead and use the Siki, trying to hit her through the gaps in her defenses. Which I feel are probably gonna be easier to exploit here. Headlock. Ow! Can't wait for her to move. Dang it. Ah! Ah! Got it with the Siki, but it didn't matter. Bite lays out all flat. Okay, this has got to be the time where the Siki will come in. He's using 2 parabolas. Or should I say 6. Those things come back kind of slow, so that should be my point to exploit her holes in her defense. I'm sorry about that phrasing. Just don't think about it. Think about Lego instead. They got Lego sets based on the new, like, the Obi-Wan series that they're doing. Like, I don't know if it's one of those series that's like the Mandalorian where it's exclusive to Disney Plus. But yeah, that kind of new Star Wars thing. Also, apparently Studio Trigger's been doing some Star Wars thing. I think they're the ones who made that lightsaber that's like a helicopter blade. Of course it would be them. And then you get the people who point and laugh and like, oh, that would be hilariously ineffective as an actual weapon. It's like, that's not the point. It's the rule of cool. So sure, I may not agree with Studio Trigger's design sensibilities, but they're allowed to make a giant scissor as a weapon if they want to. They can do a spinning helicopter lightsaber if they want. I'm just happy that they get the opportunity to make a Star Wars thing that may or may not be canon, I don't know. I know they did say the movies are the only things that are canon, but I don't know if that counts the stuff that Disney's putting out. You know, the side stuff that they're doing with like TV shows and stuff. Is Mandalorian canon? I don't even know. Also, do I care? Not really. It doesn't have to be canon to be fun. It's fan fiction. Fan mods. You know, fan games. Those exist and can be fun. And they don't have to be official. You know, I say that like I have anything in particular I'm adamant in defending there. No, just in general. Fans should be allowed to make their stuff. I would definitely have had that mentality of like, well, it's just fan fiction. It doesn't really matter. They should make something official. It's like, no, it doesn't matter. You can still be talented writing behind fan fiction. Doesn't make it any less valid. Like I was saying last time about like Pokemon sources. Like, what does it matter if it's based on a yokai or an animal, or it's just an object with a face? You know, it's not your source of inspiration that matters, it's how you do it. It's how you handle your inspiration. Like, I have this character I made, and I feel kind of pretentious pointing to my own works as an example, but it's like the only thing I can think of, because I know the inspiration behind my own works. There's a character I made that was very heavily inspired by Neocortex. And I had people like, oh, this is just kind of Neocortex. It's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm wearing my inspiration on my sleeves, but does that necessarily make her a bad character? So then I also created another character inspired by Neocortex that's less obviously Neocortex, who is like the stereotypical mean girl at school, but also with like a punk flair to her. And she also has a robot arm, because she's also a genius. So she's like, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna make her popular yet, but she's definitely that, like, a level of cartoonish evil, and like she's kind of a preppy, but also like what do you call it? Like top of her class as well. So she's basically like a evil genius mean girl. But I'm just kind of particularly fond of her design, and it's much less obvious that she's Nina Cortex inspired. So you know, it's not the inspiration that counts. It's how you change that, take that inspiration, and work it into something that's your own. I think this is different, but I'm gonna go through it anyway, just to make sure. Or did I say different? I think this is the same. I'm just gonna go through it, make sure. I suppose you could count this as a pre-rendered cutscene, so it's probably not gonna have different dialogue. It's your new grand champion, the Clockwork Cops, Bite and Barq. They graduated from Beach Patrol to Arms Champs. Congratulations! Man, that belt does look pretty cool on Bite. I was I'm going to like to thank all the participants at home.
Take care.
See, now they get to relax on the beach instead of patrol it. And apparently Bite is capable of drinking. That's interesting. Also, man, look at his hands. His hands are cool. That's gonna be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one, where we will play as Kid Cobra. Bye.